is not always that accessible. Life on the road. That's what happens when you have grandkids and you have clients scattered around. Sometimes you find yourself out and about on a Friday morning when you're supposed to be doing a webinar with all you lovely people that join me every Friday, my little tribe. So let's get started. Everybody ready to get started this morning? Let's talk about some things briefly here. This is an interactive learning experience. I know Gavin made this comment last week, and I appreciate that. Being able to stop the video on the replay and mimic what is happening on the screen. And I think that's important. I think it's good, but let's don't take away from the interactive part of this. So thank you for that, Gavin. I really appreciate that. It reminds me again of how important this experience is for the people who are part of it. But when you take time out of your schedule to be here on a Friday morning live, I try to make this as interactive as is possible. Second thing is that we want to strive for mastery. I talk about that all the time, how important it is that we master the tools that we have and not just make something work, but instead master that tool so that we can make it do whatever we want. I have two books that are always on my desk. One of them is Workshop Jigs and Fixtures for a woodworking shop. You say, what in the world is a guy like you doing with woodworking books on your desk? Well, one of the things that I'm reminded of when I look at any one of those books is there's a chapter on cutting a circle with a table saw. A table saw was designed to cut a straight line. It was made to cut an incredibly accurate straight line. But when you master it, you can cut circles with it. How cool is that? I mean, seriously, that's the reason why I have that on my desk, just to remind me that there are lots of solutions to the problem. And but the thing that you have to have is you have to master the tool so that you can do the things that seem impossible. It's striving for mastery has always been my goal. Okay. Number 3, and we're going to talk about the why being as important as the how, because the why is what causes mastery to take place. The how is just follow step by step. Fourth thing is that support and encourage each other. I can't answer support questions here. There's a lot of things I don't know. There's a lot of things having to do with support that I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in the process of development that I don't know. Good morning, Mike. But what I can do is I can encourage you to support each other, help each other find solutions, help each other work through some issues. And I'm going to demonstrate that in just a minute. And then most of all, we're going to make this a fun experience for the time that we have together. Okay. Does that sound great to everybody? Got off quiet in the chat. So I just want to make sure that everybody's still with me. All right, cool. All right, I want to show you something here because I think this is kind of awesome. All right, this is a post that was made by Gavin. So Gavin, I'm going to talk about you this morning briefly. This is a post that was made by Gavin, and I watched him go through the development steps of this when he went from trying to figure out exactly how does he make this thing happen, and then he ended up here. This is an awesome image. I love this. You did a great job here, Gavin. I really, really like that. Now, watching him develop this and being able to do it in the group goes back to this thing right here, support and encourage each other. And watching it go from this to this was, for me, awesome. And seeing him go through the steps of that, watching that develop. And I'll tell you what happens. This goes clear back to my very first, goes way back to my sales training, my early sales training days. If I could get 2 people who could work together, even if they didn't know much, they just had to know something. If I could get 2 people to work together, when they start saying to the other one, watch this, then all of a sudden you watched that whole team get better. You watched them starting to bounce ideas off of each other, and they started to work together, and the integration of those skill sets work together. And that's what the group is for. It's to encourage one another. It's to support one another. It's to find ways to lift each other up. And I watched the development of this with Gavin, and I just thought, man, this is everything that I teach all the time that I teach it. Okay. That whole watch this. Now, Gavin never said that because that gets to be a little bit egotistical. So he didn't say it that way. And that's okay. He didn't have to say it that way. But what he was doing was he was in essence doing that. So Gavin, thank you. Sharing that development process as you went from how do I do this to where this ended up. This was awesome. This is the kind of thing that gets me excited. This is what gets my motor revving up for Friday morning, is to be able to share with you the development of this. Now, I can't play the videos because they're not mine. I don't have access to the video, but I would highly encourage you to go and take a look at where we went from this, which was the second post that he made, to how he ended up to here. This is just incredible. On this, and I noticed something too that I thought was pretty interesting. You notice here that the necktie is missing. On here it's back, and I love the fact that it's back, and it works perfect with the video that you placed it over. So really, really good job, Gavin. I really enjoyed watching the process of that. So y'all make sure, if you haven't checked it out, make sure that you watch the 3 posts that Gavin made about the development process of this, because it's just really cool. So thank you, Gavin. I appreciate that. Y'all need to give Gavin lots of kudos in the group for the way he did that process. The next thing was, and I thought this was pretty cool. This is Gene. I just couldn't squeeze Gene's name in here. So it's Gene. Y'all know and expect that. But this was just too long for me to get that in there, but I wanted to see this, the video overlays. And I thought this was a really, really cool idea. What Gene did was he took a Twitter, I think that was a Twitter template, and he took that Twitter template and he reduced the opacity of the template and created this. And I thought it looked really good. Was Instagram, not Twitter, Instagram. Thank you, Gene. I appreciate that. But this is a great example of the very thing that we're talking about. Okay, this is exactly like what Gavin did. Took the idea, and all you need is an idea, right? Took that idea and ran with it. And I thought this was really good. This is a really good example of what we were talking about on Friday in the abbreviated version of Friday's webinar. Now I realized that it was kind of interesting when I got finished and I edited that and I got ready to put it up in the group. I told my wife, I said, well, it seemed a little bit abbreviated. I covered nothing on the agenda. I didn't talk anything about what people had done in the group, and I kept it just to what we were going to do on the canvas, and it was 19 minutes. Normally that would have been about 28. So I thought we really did a good job. Tyree, it is really good to see you. Thank you for jumping in this morning. And then this use of the template, just took the existing template, made some tweaks to the existing template, and used it as a video overlay. That's really good. See, that's what we need to be doing, is looking for inspiration wherever we can find it. And we'll find it in the most interesting places. My wife and I were driving down the road yesterday, and we pulled up behind a Fleet Pride truck. Fleet Pride maintains truck fleets while on the road. And I saw their little motto on the corner of that. And so that began a 1-hour training program to my wife on the mastery of marketing and understanding your market and that kind of a thing. Find that inspiration wherever you can and make the most out of it. Squeeze out of it everything that you can, and you'll find it to be fascinating. So today I want to talk about, what do we do with that inspiration? Where are we going to get it from? How are we going to maximize it? What are we going to do to make it work for us? Okay. Does that sound like a good idea? So I'm going to jump down here to talk about some places where we can take the tools that we've been talking about and put them to use. Table tents. This is the time of the year when I start thinking about, and I do this every year. Every year we've been doing this webinar. This time of the year, I always start talking about the print possibilities using Youzign. And the first one that always comes to my mind are table tents. The ability to be able to set something on somebody's table. Now, think about this. If you have a new restaurant and you put a table tent on there, encouraging people to give them a good review on Yelp, or to give them a good review on Facebook, or to like their Facebook page or something like that, you've got some communication that you can give to the customer, that, or you can put a special on there that if they do this, they can get this. And so table tents are an amazing opportunity to be able to, and think about this from an event standpoint, the ability to be able to create table tents for events and things that go on right now this time of the year, particularly in the Southeast. We eat outside a lot. And so table tents get used up and they need to be replaced. And just think about that as a business opportunity, because we're going to talk about business opportunity today. The you can make it means we can move from I made a Facebook post with a visual on it to I can begin to be able to offer services to local businesses that they desperately need. And that involves working with somebody else. And I'll show you what that is in just a little bit. Okay. Flyers are another important thing. When people get outside, flyers become very, very important. And this is an important time of the year for flyers. This is the time of the year when landscaping companies are out and about, and being able to create a flyer for a landscape company can work out really well. And just so these are the kinds of things that you can do. You can put together 6 businesses that have complementary products and or complementary services, and those things that fit together in a local area, and create flyers for them that they can swap back and forth, and give them an opportunity to be able to cross market. I'm reading this comment. I was given brand new table tent stands, and I'm going to use them in some instances to catch attendees in following the presentation or add additional information. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. And it doesn't necessarily, I mean, you can take a flyer, what she's talking about, or whoever made that comment, I can't see the person's name, putting it in a stand. Sometimes the flyers fit perfectly in the stand. And I have lots of those stands. We've used them for everything you can imagine, giveaways at events and that kind of a thing. And so being able to stick something inside of that and have additional copies of that can be really helpful. I love this agriculture part right here. I think this is really a cool visual of this particular industry. The landscaping one is really cool. But all I did was I went through here and took a look at the flyers that were available as templates and grabbed a couple of ideas out of that. And you could immediately begin to put those to work. The next thing is that we have a bunch of things that have been given to us, a bunch of tools that are available. Looking over at the template types, this is where you get ideas from. And I want you to see this as a tool. Okay. This is a tool that you can get marketing ideas and inspiration from. And there's all kinds of opportunity over here on this side that is outside of the realm of online marketing. Now, this happens to be email headers. Email headers are kind of cool, and something that a lot of businesses would like to be able to brand their email header and their Facebook cover to look the same, or their Facebook ads to look the same. And so this is kind of a cool opportunity to be able to do that. But always look at this template area right here for inspiration and places where you can come up with things that might be helpful. Under the print tab, you'll find all kinds of stuff. So as I was looking through this, I discovered a really interesting thing that had been provided by Youzign, and this is it right here. This is a list of a checklist of opportunities. This happens to be a template. I found it under checklist, but this is a template with all kinds of ideas of things that you can do that will help you to get your services out in the public. Does that make sense to you all? I know some of you do that. Some of you might not be doing it yet. Some of you might be looking for opportunity to do that. How many of you are actually doing any one of these things that you see on this list right here? Logos, websites, video promotions, frames, icons, those kinds of things. I'll give you an opportunity to respond. So is this helpful or is this repetitive? I want to know if this can be helpful to you, or if these are things that you're already doing and you're saying, move on, Eric. All right, good. It looks like this is going to be beneficial. Okay. Yeah, I find that brand new ideas take a lot of bandwidth. A tweak on an existing idea takes a little bandwidth, and I can have great results. Does that make sense to everybody? It's that 80-20 rule, that being able to make a tiny tweak to something that I already know, or be able to add a new dimension to something that I already know, is a lot better than learning something brand new. And so I just think that sometimes Stephen, that's a really good idea. As you go about doing what you do, you're going to visit a microbrewery, then check them out and see what it is that you might be able to offer. And we're going to talk about where we can get that fulfillment of those things that are offered. Because if all we do is we give them an idea, hey, this is a really, really cool looking visual that you can use, we have to be able to take that to the next step. And they're expecting you to take it to the next step. Okay. It's the fulfillment of that makes the difference. Yeah, exactly. Just a casual conversation. It doesn't have to be a high pressure thing. It's just a casual conversation. You can make it happen. Okay. So it's T-shirt time. This is the time of the year when people are in T-shirts. Well, actually, I'm in a T-shirt all the time, but it's T-shirt time. This is the time when you can use the T-shirt as a marketing means. And so you definitely want to take advantage of the fact that this is T-shirt time. And and take advantage of the opportunity to be able to say to somebody, hey, look, what if we could make a T-shirt for you to wear at your son's baseball game that advertises your business, or something to that effect. Those are the kinds of things that can really make a difference to you. Okay. And if you can fulfill that for them, it's magical. Would you agree with that? They're looking to you for the fulfillment of it. And so this is a great opportunity for that. And you can find all kinds of ways to capitalize on this. I find more people, when I wear a T-shirt that's branded in some fashion, I have more people stop me and ask me the next question. The next question is that you? Or is that how you do that? Or how do you do that? Or where do you get that? Or something to that effect. The whole purpose of that's not to tell them everything. You don't put a book on the outside of it. What you do instead is you do something to catch their attention. That's what you're working on. And I love this hat. This is called the trucker hat. This is available in Printify. And I just think this is a really, really cool hat. And hats are a great way to advertise. They're a great marketing piece. And I think this trucker's hat is about the coolest because it's a great summer hat. It's open mesh in the back. It's got a nice panel on the front these hats are embroidered. So it's got a nice embroidery area on the front, easy for the advertising to take place. So think about not only T-shirts, but also hats. It's also hat time. This is a great time for people to have hats. And so, and we're going to walk through some of those things in just a minute, but hats are a pretty cool way for people to advertise. And the cool thing about hats is that they don't have to be gender specific. You've got men and women can wear the same hat, and it works out really well. All right. Any questions so far? Because from here, we're going to jump into the canvas and take a look at some other things inside the canvas. I'm going to give you some places to look for inspiration and that kind of a thing. Okay. So time for tips and tricks. And if you have any questions, and I haven't seen any questions so far this morning, so that's pretty cool, actually. I like it when we don't have a lot of questions, but I like it when you have comments and things that I can help you with. So, all right, I'm going to share my screen. So give me a second here to get plugged into the right spot. And I will switch my screen and we'll take a look at the next thing. Okay. All right. Do I have two screens up or just one? I may have messed up here. Somebody help me out. Do I have two screens up or just one? Two. Okay, let me get rid of the other one. I'm sorry. I can't see the screens that I'm sharing because of the way that I have to do this. So let me, we're going to go blank here for just a second. All right, do this over again. We'll get it right this time. Now you should just be seeing one screen. Are you just seeing one screen now? You're still seeing one over top of the other one? That's not good. Stop sharing that. How did that happen? Share my screen. Do the application. Oh, okay. I see what it is. All right. This should work out okay. All right. What you're looking at is, instead of being one screen on top of the other one, that was intended to be that way. That's this screen right here. Does that look normal now? Yeah, that looks normal now. Okay. That's what I was doing, is I had blown this up so I could screen cap this and put it in the agenda. That's what that was. That was a little confusing. I'm sorry. All right, now let's talk about some things for just a moment. Okay, I've introduced you to two platforms. Actually, I've introduced you to three. We talked about print on demand for business cards and those kinds of things, and we talked about Vistaprint from there. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment, but you have to be able to fulfill the things that you deliver to your client. They're looking to you for fulfillment, and so Printify, Printful, and Vistaprint, as well as some others, Minuteman, others are good places for you to be able to get the fulfillment piece of this. This trucker's hat that I was just looking at, that picture came from right here. That was the larger version of that picture, and that's what I had in the agenda a minute ago, and that was kind of my all messed up window. So Printify has some really good opportunities, has some really cool stuff. And we talked about Printify's ability to be able to stack your images in the same piece. Other fulfillment companies don't necessarily allow you to do that. And so this makes it possible for me to make my images much bigger, because they're not, I can put three different images on one t-shirt rather than one image on a t-shirt. And that gives me multiple capabilities. So, and we've been through all of that, so I don't want to go down that road again, but I want you to see some things that you don't want to miss out on. This is going to be really important. This is how you become good at what you do. Click on the catalog right here and go down to bestsellers. This will tell you what's trending right now and what's selling really well. I cannot believe that people are selling pillows. I cannot believe that. But for them to have a pillow on the bestseller list says something, right? It is weird, Gene. I agree. I thought it was just really strange. Now, I can understand the rest of the stuff on this list. I get this, you know. Phone cases, tote bags, the stickers. We've talked about the stickers several times. And I don't get the pillow thing. But that's just me. I don't have to get it. Here's the thing about trending ideas: you don't have to get it. And you may not. Like, I'm not sure that I get this one. Yeah, Dave, you also have some girls in your house, don't you? Yeah, like I said, I don't get it, but that doesn't mean it's not gettable. All right. And just as I say this, I remember packing up to go see my grandson. And what did I stick in the pack? I stuck a pillow exactly that size right there in my bag to take this when I went to see my grandson. So maybe I get it without getting it. Yeah, Dave, that makes a big difference. You'll have more pillows in your house if you have girls. I've noticed that. But the stickers are good. Let me show you one that blows my mind, and that is these socks. Your cost on these socks by the time they're shipped to you is like $12 or $13. I never paid $13 for a pair of socks. That's kind of an expensive deal, but it's a trending thing. You got to keep that in mind. What's trending right now becomes really important. And so you can either buck the trend or you can ride the wave. And I agree, Tyree. I don't know. All of a sudden, it's become interesting. And, socks used to just be something that you put on your feet. Somebody asked a question the other day on Facebook, is there anything better than putting on a pair of socks, a pair of brand new socks? I said, yeah, taking them off. I don't wear socks, but I get this. So this is a trending thing. We've got to take a look at what are people buying, because what people are buying will help us to be more successful. Do you agree with that? So trending things are really important. I like this bestseller piece right here. So pay careful attention to it. The interesting thing is, in the 6 months I've been working with Printify, these numbers change. They change. And so I have to pay attention to those changes. I have to pay attention to those trends. The great thing about print on demand or fulfillment companies like this, I didn't have to go out and buy 1,200 pair of socks and then worry about that trend going away next month. Yeah, you do the same thing with Amazon bestsellers, but take a look at what are the bestsellers. Take a look at what's trending right now, because that will help you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, you have to imitate success. I totally agree with that. The second thing is, I went over to Printify, and the video that I showed you a couple of weeks ago on the bad dad jokes that the guy had built the t-shirt company out of, the bad dad jokes. I actually found that video here on Printify. It was a Printify guy that was a Printify customer that Printify had captured on video to demonstrate what he was doing with bad dad jokes. That was a brilliant video. Did y'all like that video? But this is where we got it from. We got this video from right here inside of Printify. Printify has given you thousands of dollars worth of resources here. Just all kinds of stuff that can be extremely helpful to you. So I want you to, we're going to talk about this just a little bit, okay? We're going to talk about where to find some of these really cool things that are inside of this Printify, or this is Printful. We're going to talk about some of the cool stuff that's in here. So all I did was I went to notifications, and I went to see all notifications. There's some stuff in here I want you to pay very, very careful attention to. There's a lot of stuff in here about e-commerce stores, because if you're going to do this, you need to have an e-com store of some kind. You need to have some kind of an e-com store. Now, I'm a big fan of e-com. I think it's the trending thing today, and so I have an e-com store. And I think e-com is the direction to go. I'm a big fan of that. This magic coffee mug, we talked about this the other day. This magic coffee mug is really, really cool. This is the one that is a matte black, and it changes color to your design as it gets filled up with coffee. Now you can see it over in the corner as it appears. This is pretty awesome. You want to talk about an attention getter? Check this out. See if you can play this. See if I can play this video here. Can you all see the video? Do you see the video? All right. Play the video. I want you to see this. It may not play very well while we're... Oh, I'm sorry. It's slow loading. All right, we're not going to be able to do this. We'll run out of time if we do. Yeah, you see it over on the sidebar over here, but we're having difficulty playing it in the pop out. So anyhow, this is another one of those really cool things that I found here on Printfulls. So or Printful. So let's do this. I want to go back to where we were at before. But man, take some time and go through this. Take a few minutes on a Sunday afternoon and scroll through this and take a look at the updates on the notifications, because you're going to find some really cool stuff here. And I want to show you, there's a video here, and I'm going to show you the video. And I don't see the video right now, but it's here. This is the video right here. These are trending, the top 6 graphic design trends for 2019.
It's good to start with like a single tile and then work your way out.
This is kind of cool.
We should always be considering how one edge goes into the other, how things mirror across that single tile, and then how can they extrapolate it out. It would vary on the pattern itself, so the tile can be very small.
And I'm just going to jump through this video so you can see some of these design trends without us watching the whole thing. Look at that. That's pretty cool. How cool is that?
Subtle shifts like this. And even with something like this where you can see the contrast between the illustration and the photograph, I like the way that there's just a sense of harmony all throughout the image. And I think that that's something that...
This is a video that's definitely worth you watching. I'm going to grab the link for this here. Because just like bestsellers, these are trending designs. Now, it's one thing to have this trending design. Let me see if I can find one more here. This is pretty awesome. It's one thing to have a trending design like that. It's another thing that, where do I get the stuff? Where do I get that from? And interestingly enough, I actually found some things on Printfulls' website that I showed you a couple of weeks ago. And they had right here, those exotic designs that we were looking at a minute ago are right here. And you can download these. They're very high quality. They're very large images. Notice we're looking at 14,000 by 12,000 at 300 DPI. So you're not going to lose any image quality using any of these. Now you can take those and incorporate those into your design. So let's take this one right here, and we're going to download this. All right. Now, you see, this was a pattern that we used the other day. Remember, we had that leopard print a couple of weeks ago in the webinar. Well, that's where I found that leopard print at right there. Now, there's also, you'll notice, some trending, some new things that are pretty applicable to the time that we're to the calendar, right? All right, so let's go over to here. This was that little card that I had found. Let's go over here, and I'm going to upload that ping file that I just had. download it. But before I do that, I'm going to make it smaller, slightly smaller, because it's a little bit big for our canvas. So I'm going to resize the image. And it doesn't make any difference which tool that you use. I just use resize because it's easy for me to remember. Okay, so I'm going to upload the image to this. Y'all know that anytime it's over 3,500 pixels, you want to make sure that you make it smaller so that you can use it inside of Youzign. We'll talk about this another day. That's another fulfillment company. But that download that I just had is right here. So that image will upload. It takes a second for it to do that. It's in a transparent background. So now I have it. I'm just simply going to reduce the size of it by about 50%. Okay. Now I'm going to download it and upload it to my canvas. I didn't lose anybody, did I? But being able to get the these high quality images here, and I've got that. I now have that loaded. So let me start with a fresh canvas here. To be able to get these high quality images and taking them from the library that was available at Printful gives you the ability to be able to create some amazing designs without you having to come up with the backgrounds and the stuff. When you watch this video right here, it will tell you about how significant the backgrounds are. And we've talked about that a lot, how important the background is. Let me do a print design here. And this is where you find the t-shirt section in Youzign Center. Teespring under prints. People lose that all the time. Probably one of the most common questions I get asked is, where do I find the t-shirts? Right there. So I have my upload here. Now that's a decent size image for this. Let's take the let's make the background transparent because it's a t-shirt. I don't want the transparent. I don't want the background to show. So let's do this. Let's make this slightly turned like that, and we'll throw a text on top of it. I'm just going to use my text file so I don't run out of time here. Totally off the top of my head. I want to use that red color right there. Grab my color picker, come over here, and use that red. All right. I'm going to change the color of this to match that right there. All right. Does that make sense to everybody? Y'all see what I did? That's step one. Take a look at what this looks like on a t-shirt. These are the Teespring colors, by the way. So that's what it looks like in Teespring. Okay. I'm going to save this. The fonts on this side over here where it says text, those fonts you simply save. Let me show you this for a second. When I find a font that I like, or I have something to do with that, like I like that size, or maybe what I wanted to do is I wanted to have this turned at a certain angle like this, and I always want to make sure that angle was always the same. Then I just simply click up here and see the little save icon right there. I click that save icon, go over here and click on that, and you'll notice I have exactly that same pattern, font, size, and everything right there. That's where that comes from, Dale. Very common question. So now let's go back over here to Printful and Printfulls. We're going to talk about the difference between these two from a fulfillment standpoint. Okay. And if I want to create a new order, I go to the mockup generator. In this case, we're going to do a youth size. Judy, I am not sure. I know that there is an Australian version of one of, see, I know where you're from. There's an Australian version in one of the two fulfillment companies, and maybe we'll look as we go, okay? So I click on the design. I'm going to upload the file that I just downloaded. That's the file I just downloaded. And we'll choose it. Now, do you see this? Print quality is going to be good in that size right there. All right. Are y'all with me? Got a little bit quiet. So I can make a whole shirt like that. All right. You can go over to Printify, click on the catalog. I'll take kids' clothing, T-shirts. Did you notice when we did this one right here, when I did this one right here, I uploaded a single image. Did y'all notice that? That was a single image. Over here, when I add my design, I can upload that image. Select that one. And notice here it tells me that the resolution is good. Does anybody know why I'm not having a resolution issue? Anybody know why? Ray does. The reason why I'm not having a resolution issue with the image that I downloaded was because I'm putting it on a youth shirt where the size is smaller. Did y'all catch that? I'll show you in just a second. Now, when I scroll down here, I want you to see this. I can add another layer. I can put additional layers on top of this where I couldn't do that before. And that's really important because over here, I can only put a single layer on. Over here, I can add additional layers. And those bigger layers allow me to, or those additional layers allow me to be able to put a larger size design on the shirt. All right, does that make sense to everybody? When we go back over here, now, put that up there like that. And again, I would totally change the wording, but you get the idea of what that looks like. All right, let's go back and we'll put it on an adult size. Like I told you, my shirts have to be made by the Acme Tent and Awning Company because they're big. All right, let me talk about this for just a moment. The very best shirts possible are these Gildan shirts. This Gildan 3600 is the best shirt made. Best t-shirt, in my opinion, best t-shirt made. Of course you're more curious about that. I have no idea, Stephen. I'm just fussing at you, that's all. All right, so here, I have some options. I was going to try to answer the question to see if there was a, I don't see anything. The Printify has multiple countries, Robin, that you might want to check, or Judy, that you might want to check out. Okay. But I don't know the answer to that question. I know that they have, they've been expanding, but again, it depends on what's available in the country. Like this Bella Canvas shirt may not be available in that country, but we'll just take this and we'll start here. Okay. I'm gonna add my design here. Select that one. It's called Bella Canva or Bella Canvas. I don't remember which it is. But you see this warning right here? Notice what happened to my resolution. It was fine on the kid shirt. All right. So let's do this. We'll get rid of that. Back over here to my design. This time I'm going to upload my original file, my original flame file. All right. This is my original flame file. I'm going to select that. That is a decent resolution, right? See the difference? So when I go back over to here and I go back to the library, What I do know is this, Stephen. This is the pragmatic lunatic that operates inside my brain, and that is that if I loaded this in this image and it was not going to work, I would get a notice. Did you see the notice that we got earlier? I would get a notice saying that it wouldn't work. Okay. And this is the reason what Stephen's saying right now about the way the colors look is really a good reason for you to select multiple fulfillment companies, get a single shirt, and find out what they look like. Make sure they look good. Make sure that those colors match what you want those colors to match. I mean, there's nothing like holding the thing in your hand, stretching it, pulling it, looking to see what it's going to look like, right? Y'all agree with me about that? So, yep, always want to get a sample. That way there's no disappointment, okay? But when you go back over here to the sample files, and we're looking at these, look how big these are. Also think about how big they are when you load them and you load them up. You know, this one's 105 megabytes. That's a big file, right? So, great location for finding fascinating background prints. Great place to do that at. And then I can take that, once I've downloaded it, I can load it into here and put this on a coffee cup or back over here to the catalog. I can put this on a coffee cup, or I can put this on something to stick on the wall. This one has two different sizes. This is a 24 by 36, which is a good size. It's a big size. I can add to that design. I can put a background on this. We'll select this file. I've got good resolution, right? I'm going to play with this for just a little bit. Let's move this back where it was. Come on, Eric, get that straight. This is the reason why I like using Printful as opposed to using what's going on here? How did I lose my images? Oh, that's why right there. Layer resolution is bad. All right. This is a great opportunity, though. I want you to see what a really awesome opportunity this is. That was the resolution got lost a little bit on that one. But think about this for a moment. I can add a layer here. I can take this. I can take this first layer and move it up. And I can begin to create an image from this. Does that make sense? By being able to add the layers? Do you get what I'm doing when I do that? Because it's time to go. I got busy diddling and I apologize. All right, but there's a great opportunity here. There's a bunch of stuff that's available to you that you can take and you can use inside of Youzign to create awesome fulfillment for your clients. And that's what I want you to see. It's not enough for you to be able to deliver to them a design. You have to also be able to give to them the fulfillment of that design, because that's what they're looking for. They don't have time for the rest of that. All right. Thank you very much for joining me today. I am going to bug out of here, and have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Friday.